This is Chester Moore, Editor-in-Chief of Texas Fishing Game at 2016 ICAST with the legendary bass fisherman Tommy Martin. Guy almost invented Toledo Bend Reservoir. He could have if he would have. But you got your own series of rod here with McCain. Let's talk about these rods.
Okay, thank you, Chester. I appreciate you having me on the show. I really, you know what, I'm a fishing guide. It's what I've done for 50 years. I'm also a tournament fisherman. But I always wanted to develop a series of rods of my own design where I could make them exactly like I wanted them.
Okay.
And that's what I did with these rods with Martin. When Martin and I struck this deal up, I told him I wanted to build lure-specific rods. Mm-hmm. Each rod is made to fish 2 or 3 particular lures. The handle length, the guides, and everything, the action of the rod, the length of the rod itself, everything is detailed for specific baits. And I've got 9 rods in my series that pretty much covers the whole spectrum of bass fishing, tournament fishermen. I mean, we've got something for everybody that bass fishes to throw any type of lure that they want to throw.
So if they grab that stick, they know that's going to be for flipping jigs or throwing crankbaits.
Yeah. This particular rod I'm holding here is a 7'3" flipping rod. The thing unique about my rod, what I incorporated into it, is this rod is constructed out of graphite until you get up to about right here. And then we got a glass tip on it. It's S-glass tip. And what that does for flipping purposes, you know, when you're using strictly a graphite rod and flipping with braided line with just a short piece of line out, and you set the hook real hard, you rip a slit in a bass's mouth about yay long when you do that, because that graphite doesn't give. It just rips a slit in their mouth, which gives them a little bit of an advantage and a way to get off the hook. When they jump, come up and surface and jump, a lot of them are going to get off. Now, the thing about the soft tip, you remember when flipping was invented back in 1974, it was brought to us over here by guys from California. A guy named D. Thomas brought it over. We happened to be at Bull Shoals Lake when flipping was first introduced. And I was leading that tournament the first day. It's a bass tournament. I was leading it. And the second day, a guy by the name of D. Thomas, which nobody had ever heard of, all of a sudden this guy comes in with 18 or 19 pounds, and the story is he's got a big old long rod, and he's going around the bank dipping a jig in the sawdust and stuff along the bank. Well, that's when flipping was created, right then and there. But D and those guys from California used fiberglass rods. The only drawback to fiberglass rods, of course, is they're much heavier. This rod weighs about 5 ounces, but again, it's constructed of graphite all the way up to here. Then you got S-glass. And what that does, when you set the hook with braided line, you're going to punch one hole where that hook, whether you're using soft plastic with a big hook or whether you're using a jig, it punches one hole in their mouth, and there's no way, or not, I shouldn't say no way, because you're always going to use, you know, bass have a way of getting off, but you land a much higher percentage of your fish if you have a soft tip. So we've incorporated this glass tip into the rod, and at 5 ounces. We've only got 5 ounces of weight. So it's a very comfortable rod to fish with. And as I said earlier, all my rods are detailed for specific lures, and we feel like we've really hit on something. They're priced at $200. And anybody out there that wants to buy one and try one, I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed.
Thanks.